Hey y'all, what's up? I'm back with Contact Atlanta. I'm Sierra Lorraine Johnson, and I just been sitting down with some wonderful, amazing people. But this interview right here, I'm super excited. I'm with my man Mark, the Entrepreneur's Pastor.
I appreciate
Where
it.
you get that from?
God.
Let's talk about that. So let's start there.
It took me a while to discover that I had a unique calling on my life. I knew I was very passionate about business and business development, but I also knew I was equally passionate about spirituality as well. So I was like, do I not be spiritual and just be all business, or do I be all business and not be spiritual at all? Right. So I didn't see too many people doing what I was doing. And I know last year I was just kind of meditating and talking to some friends, and it came to me, it's like, you're a pastor just for entrepreneurs. But at that time, you know, sometimes God give us stuff and we just be like, that ain't me. This
all the time.
Right. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because we always look for a template of something. And when God is trying to call you to be a trailblazer or a pioneer, there is no templates. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So I hired a business coach this year. And I'll tell anybody, like, it was worth the investment. Not that she taught me anything new. She just gave me permission to be. And that's all I needed. So once I got that, I was like, okay, let me change my name to the Entrepreneur's Pastor, because that's in theory what I am. I'm fully business, but fully spiritual at the same time.
A lot of time as believers, I know sometimes I don't struggle with this as much anymore. Like, but sometimes it's kind of like a conflict, because it's like, dang, am I saying God too much?
Exactly.
Or am I quoting scriptures too much? But I've been thinking like, nah, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Him. So I feel like I don't make people uncomfortable, because they know, like, yeah, I'm still who I am, but y'all know that this is nothing but God.
Exactly.
I was talking to my homegirl on the way back from the airport, and she kept saying, like, people keep thinking that it's hard in business. Like, why do we keep getting blessed? Why does stuff going on? She was like, it's so simple. All we doing is praying.
Yeah.
So how do you break down that concept to, like, people around you that might not be believers?
I don't force my beliefs on people, but I introduce them to my freedom. And I believe when you introduce people to freedom, there's just this natural human nature to say, well, what caused this?
Right.
And I think sometimes when you try to bash people with, hey, you need to pray, you need to do this, you need to go to church, then their immediate response is to repel me, or repel whoever. But if I introduce them with this lifestyle of, hey man, business is going good, hey man, customers are coming in, it's flowing, and they see that, and it's not like, what's your secret?
Right.
Okay, my secret, now I have access to give you what the information is I have. So I don't find it as an issue at all. That was my biggest conflict, saying, like, similar to you, like, if I do merge my spirituality with business, will I turn people off?
Yeah.
But the reality is, if I'm authentically myself, I turn the right people on and the wrong people off. And that's what you want in a brand. You want your tribe to hear your voice and know that, okay, he resonates with me. And if I don't resonate with you, cool, unfollow.
No, for real.
Yeah.
You got to be cool with the unfollows.
Yeah, you got to be cool
and
with that.
unsubscribers. Because my email list, I put a prayer at the bottom every time. And then I notice that people be like, well, you just ain't, that's not for you.
That's not for you. Yeah.
I think it's hard. It was hard for me to identify, like, they just not my client.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes even with my branding and marketing agency, I realize that some people need prayer. Like you know what I'm saying? I be sitting there like, God, like prayer. I be like, this weekend my client had a big event, and I woke up that morning and God was like, call him and pray. I was like,
right, I'm good.
Then he texted me and said, can you pray for me?
Wow.
I was like,
wow.
Like, okay, God, like, let me start listening. So I think that being marketplace entrepreneurs, since I got my confirmation.
Listen, run in it.
Yeah, so it can be a lot. So how do you ever find it hard to, like, talk about finances and being in ministry or in business? Because some people be like, oh, they asking me for money, but you talking about God. Do you ever find it difficult to have those type of conversations?
No, I used to. Okay, I'll just go ahead and say. So I was at this particular church, and I know one Sunday I was asked to raise the offering. The pastor was not there, and I got word once they did the financial report that it was one of the highest offerings that was ever raised in the history of the church, and the church has been around 10 years. So I was like, oh wow, cool. And I didn't take any credit. I just like, okay, I just got up and did it. So it became a thing where I was consistently ask, okay, since you did it the first time, do it again. At that point, I started to feel some type of way because now I feel like, okay, I'm being pimped in a certain way. But what that did affirm in me is that my gift to attract wealth, my gift to attract money, that people trust me. So now, even when I'm online and I do a live, I'll put my Cash App proudly up and I'll explain every single time why it's there. No, this is not to pimp you out of anything, but we understand spiritual laws and how the universe works. It says that if you give, you get. As a man sows, he reaps. So I'm just breaking down this mindset that people have because they've been abused by so many other people that, okay, this principle does work. I'm just doing it for the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? But even in that, God sees your heart to me. And even if you sold into somebody and they were manipulating you, if you did it from a pure place, the principle still works. You know, so I don't find it uncomfortable at all anymore. Cash App stays going off because somebody's going to Cash App me saying, man, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for blessing me. And we, as entrepreneurs and spiritual entrepreneurs, have to allow people to bless us because that creates the flow in their lives. So when people want to do good things for us, sometimes we're so strong-minded, like, I'm good. You need it more than me. No, it's not about what you need. It's about what they need.
No, that's a major one because we used to be like, oh, let me bless you, let me get you some lunch. And I used to be like, no, it's okay. But now I be like, yes, come on.
Come on. Create that flow. Yes, like, create that flow.
But it was uncomfortable because you like, and I might have needed it at the time, but it was still just like, well, no, like. But then like I just was like, no, that's right. I've been working for this. Like let me take my $20 blessing.
Let's us take it. You know.
So with that being said, like when it comes to your services, because you do great work in business, great work in marketing, how did you kind of get your services where it's, you know, now you're praying for people and you imparting it to people, but like, did your services have to change? Just like your packages and things like that?
Definitely. I went from several different phases in business trying to find myself, discover what it is. I love marketing. I love branding. I love human psychology. I love sales. I love all of that stuff. So now what I offer is prophetic business coaching. So it allows me to be both. It allows me to be a business coach and talk to you about strategy. And so that means we may get on the phone and we may do all of that and pray and speak in tongues. But at the end of that session, we're going to say, all right, step one is, here's how the algorithm works. Here's how your brand needs to look. So I believe God is not just concerned about us being happy and spiritual. He wants us to take spiritual information and then incorporate it inside of our business. And then we see the return on it. So yeah, man, mostly people that are coming to me now, actually people demand it. Like, hey, can I work with you? And I had to create coaching. So now it's like people are just coming to me like, I need clarity. I need your help. I need your assistance. And they are booking me. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years and I'm like, I've never seen a consistent flow of money like I have in this until I walked into this. Exactly.
You're right. Yeah. I feel the same way that you feel. I feel like I was listening to this prophetic thing and the guy was saying when you operate from your overflow, everything is easy. But you be operating from like yourself and you didn't tap into like what God has for you. And he was like, you develop spiritual fatigue because you're trying to do it by yourself. But I realized when I just let go and let God, Girl Boss Suites Atlanta, and then they're like, oh, Girl Boss Suites Houston. No, it's an online community. Like, oh, we want to help you. Like everything's happening. So I think when we tap into like that overflow, it's no going back.
It's no
and then
going
people need it. Like people want prayer, people want faith, but they've been so, like you said, so abused and beat up. These coaches done ripped them off. The church done ripped them off.
Everybody ripped them off.
So they like, I'm out here, don't know what I'm doing, but can somebody help me? So I think it's so powerful that you found a way to merge it. That's crazy.
And it's very authentic too. And people feel it when it's authentic, when it's real. And it's even something that God gave me last year. He gave me the prayer line for entrepreneurs. And I was like, ain't nobody about to start a prayer line for entrepreneurs. There's a million prayer lines. Why do I need to start one? And I just started it last Monday was the first time that I did. It was 40-something people on. I didn't do any flyers. I didn't do any special marketing. I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. 40-something people woke up at 7 a.m. to get on a line and pray. Entrepreneurs. So it's just, there is, like you said, there is a need, there is a demand. So until we step into that place, people will be starving spiritually and their business will suffer because we're not in our position.
And you just put a prick in my soul because a year ago, God gave me Dreamline on Sunday evenings and I was doing it, but like 2 people was logging in. But God said every Sunday at 9 p.m. do Dreamline.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's 2 people logging in.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to sleep. Yeah. That's around my bedtime. But like just this week, it was like, Tierra, you need to do Dreamline. I was like, God, 2 people logged on. Like, and you just said the prayer line. I was like, okay. Dang, so I need to bring Dreamline back.
And this is something else. This is a sidebar that he's been dealing with me as well, despite not small beginnings. So even if something is small, and sometimes we get discouraged when only 2 people were there, but you don't know who those 2 people knew. You don't know who those 2 people connected to. Those 2 people, if you pour into them, because they're going to consistently show up, you pour into them, they're going to grab 2 more people. Right. And then those 2 people are going to grab 2 more people.
I usually be on that, but I think because Sunday nights be like my self-care time. And I think that's probably why God did it. Like, I'm going to make you do it on some time when you know you need to be talking to me anyway. So, you're right. Like, definitely just obedience and sacrifice is just the way to success. It's the game changer. But I think that COVID blessed people in businesses so much for us. And just another thing is like believers. I tell people in my church all the time, they be like, oh, well, God's going to bless me. Yeah, God's going to bless you, but you still got to do the work. You got to do the work. So I think that's where coaches like us come in, like help you guys do the work because, you can pray, but
you still got to do something.
Yeah, but a lot of times we guys be like, well, God going to make a way. And I think like our parents' generations, the different generations, they always just like, well, God. But God is like, you still got to do the work. So I think it's a need for people in business like us say like you still gotta do the work, but you still gotta get an LLC. Use wisdom, right? Use wisdom. But I get a lot of questions about like tithing, and I feel like I tell people all the time that if you want to be a business owner and you trust God, you believe in God, tithing is a way to make yourself successful. So how do you feel about that, tithing, and how do you coach your clients about that process?
I completely agree. It's the same thing. I teach that if you want a steady flow of anything in your life, you first have to sow those seeds. Even when people are sowing into me, I say, don't put on their donation. It's not a donation. This is a seed that you're sowing, and you need to identify the seed. So what is it that you need in your business? Because even if you're sowing into me, you're sowing into your business as well. There was a young lady last week, she sold into me $5 or something, and she put in the comments, I don't have much. I returned it back to her. I added $40 more, and I messaged her immediately. I said, don't ever declare that your seed is small. Don't ever do that. That's already, you're sowing from the wrong place. You're sowing from a place of lack. You're saying that which I have is not much, but it is much. God don't need you to be a millionaire. He just needs you to trust him with that $5 that you're sowing, right? So I think more and more people are just understanding that spiritual principle. The reality is that there is a spiritual awakening happening in the earth, period. People are seeking for spirituality. You know, that's why people are trying to figure out, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? People have a hunger and thirst for God, but they're just being misdirected or misled, so they don't know what's authentic and what's not. But there's a group of people that are emerging, I believe, that are like us, where it's authentic, it's real. We ain't trying to pimp people, but we're trying to be as pure and authentic as possible. And those people are rising up, and people see us.
It's crazy, but it's crazy because this was said years ago, and then I think I was still just like, right. All right. But then Corona happened. I was like, oh, you for real? Like, you know, so I think that it's amazing. I'm glad we connected. Just even this interview, I'm just like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. I see why you told me to send that message. But so like, any last words of advice that you have for people struggling in their Christianity in their businesses?
I would definitely say the same way you tap into the power of God for spiritual guidance and spiritual alignment and your family prayer life, all that is the same way that you need to tap in for your business, because I think we seemingly forget that God is not just concerned about my spiritual life and being whole over there. He wants me to be whole in every facet of my life. So the Bible says, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So as a part of your soul prospering, I need you to have money. I need you to be healthy. And those are some things that we miss. So I want to tap into the spiritual or the spirit of God concerning my business, because at that point, I'm not limited. The mind of, it's like Google on demand. I go in my prayer closet, and now I'm connected to the infinite mind of God. So it's an amazing thing. He'll give you strategy, insight, change this color in your brand and change that color in your business.
For real. Like, oh my gosh.
It's legit.
It's crazy. I was telling my friend this. She was like, I just pray for my business. I ask God to bless me. And I was like, that's the thing. Like, you've come to a cap on yourself because you've made the money in your business. business. So now your prayer strategy is different. It's not like, God, can I hit this revenue goal because you hit that.
Yeah.
Like, stop praying those little prayers.
Right.
You're going to have to, like, pray.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know how or feel like they're not saying the right
don't
words.
know how to get deeper in it.
But it's not even that deep.
Yeah.
Just know that you praying at the level you started at the beginning. Now that your business is
time to
elevated,
elevate.
you got to pray at that.
Yeah.
So, like, I think we got to do all that type of teaching and information. I don't know what that's going to look like.
I don't know either, but we're going to do it.
So how do we get in contact with you?
Instagram is mark.coley, marc.coley.
Okay.
Facebook, Mark Coley. LinkedIn, Mark Coley. Website, Mark Coley. And the Mark Coley Business Academy. I want to make it as simple as possible for people to find me. So that's where I'm at.
That's amazing. That's like Sierra LeRae Johnson everywhere.
Yeah,
like, we
everywhere.
just got that
Listen.
name,
That's
TLJ,
it.
Like, okay.
Keep it simple.
Right. So thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you.
I'm super excited about this interview.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you.